Hey, friends. I want to talk to you about Psalm 107. I'm not sure how many of you have ever read Psalm 107 or meditated on it or thought about it much. It's not one of the most well known Psalms, but it's really amazing. And I think it's powerful for us, those of us who are trying our best to follow Jesus and be faithful to God, though we all struggle, we all stumble. Here's how Psalm 107 begins. Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, whom he has redeemed from trouble. I love that. Worship begins with who God is, not our circumstances, not how we feel in the moment, but we are to give thanks to the Lord because he is good. And then it says, let the redeemed of the Lord, those whom God has rescued, restored, redeemed, if that's you, then we're to say so. We're not to remain silent about it. We're to talk about it, which gives God glory, encourages us and strengthens our own faith when we talk about who God is and what he's done, and it blesses others who may be at times struggling in their faith. And then the bulk of the psalm is these four portraits, which are painfully accurate to our human condition. Four portraits of the human soul in different situations which God rescues. And there's this repeated pattern of the soul, the individual, crying out to God in their distress of a particular kind. God hearing that cry, answering, rescuing them, restoring them, pulling them out of those circumstances or healing them. And then the call to give God thanks and praise. You know, our gratitude to God, really it withers unless we express it. It's not just something we think internally or feel deeply. It's meant to be expressed. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so. So here's these four conditions, if you will. First, in verses 4-9, some wandered in desert wastes, finding no way to a city to dwell in. Hungry and thirsty, their soul fainted within them. This is the wandering soul. Lost, directionless, confused, feeling alone, groping around in the dark, so to speak. Verse 6, then they cried to the Lord in their trouble, and he delivered them from their distress. He led them by a straight way till they reached a city to dwell in. Let them thank the Lord for his steadfast love, for his wondrous works to the children of man. For he satisfies the longing soul, and the hungry soul he fills with good things. That's the wandering soul. Any wandering souls out there who feel a little bit lost? Cry out to the Lord. Then the next category, some sat in darkness, in the shadow of death, prisoners in affliction and in irons, for they had rebelled against the words of God and spurned the counsel of the Most High. This is the rebellious soul. This is the condition we find ourselves in when we reject God's wisdom and God's word and God's way. It always ends badly for us. Then they cried to the Lord in their trouble, and he delivered them from their distress. He brought them out of darkness in the shadow of death and burst their bonds apart. Let them thank the Lord for his steadfast love, for his wondrous works to the children of man. For he shatters the bars of bronze and cuts them the doors of iron. Isn't that amazing? Even when we rebel against God and it's our own fault and we have no one to blame but ourselves, even then we can cry out to the Lord. I know what that's about personally. I found myself in situations where I thought I have no one to blame but me. And I wanted to blame others. But the truth is, it's on me. Even then you can cry out to the Lord and he will hear you and he will answer you. Then verse 17, some were fools in their sinful ways, and because of their iniquities suffered affliction. They loathed any kind of food, and they grew near the gates of death. Then they cried to the Lord in their distress, and he delivered them from all their trouble. Let them thank the Lord for his steadfast love, for his wondrous works to the children of man. This is the foolish soul, maybe not outright rebellious, but just making dumb decisions that lead you astray, that cause distress for you and the people in your life. Even then, even in our foolishness, we can cry out to the Lord and he will hear and he will answer. So friends, any wanderers out there, any rebels out there, any fools out there? Last, some went down to the sea in ships doing business on the great waters. They saw the deeds of the Lord, his wondrous works, Their courage melted away in their evil plight, and they reeled and staggered like drunken men and were at their wits' end. This is what I'm calling the overwhelmed soul. Looking to make our fortune or find our security or our comfort or identity in something in the world, business, achievement, career, success, identity, reputation. Then they cried to the Lord in their trouble, and he delivered them from their distress. He made the storm be still, and the waves of the sea were hushed, and they were glad that the waters were quiet, and he brought them to their desired haven. Let them thank the Lord for his steadfast love, for his wondrous works to the children of man. These four categories, the wandering soul, the rebellious soul, the foolish soul, and the overwhelmed soul, I think every one of us has been in that condition at one time or another in our lives. And the psalmist says, no matter where you find yourself, no matter what condition you're in, you can cry out to the Lord. From the depths of your heart, cry to him, and he will hear you, and he will deliver you, and he will rescue you. And friends, if that's you, if you've been there like I have, we're told, let the redeemed of the Lord say so. Talk about it. Tell people about it. Share the wonderful works of God and his steadfast love in your life. You don't have to be a Bible scholar or a theologian to say so. You can just talk about what the Lord has done in your life. Like blind Bartimaeus on the road, when he's questioned about who healed him, he says, I don't know. All I know is I was blind and now I see. All I know is Jesus has changed me. God has redeemed me and rescued me. That's what it means to say so. Then look at how the psalm ends. Last little bit here. It says this, whoever is wise, let him attend to these things. Let him consider the steadfast love of the Lord. Whoever is wise, let him attend to these things. The pattern of grace in this psalm, the turning point is never self-rescue. It's never we fix our own problems and then come to God. It's we cry out to him in our distress, in our trouble. And then Psalm 107 says, true wisdom is to see your life, your whole story, in light of God's love and redeeming work. Even your wanderings, even your rebelliousness, even your foolishness, even when you're overwhelmed, even those things that feel dark and desperate and you want to shove in a box and hide, even those things can be redeemed, can be used by God. This is wisdom, to see our life, all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, through the lens of God's love, and then to say so. Notice what he says, let whoever is wise, let him attend to these things. That means to think deeply about them. Let him consider the steadfast love of the Lord. What a great encouragement to think back over our life and to see God's redeeming hand, his faithfulness, his steadfastness, even when we were wandering and rebellious and foolish. Even then, we can say so about the redeeming and steadfast love of our God. Friends, I don't know where you find yourself today or what you're feeling or what you're going through, but this psalm, I hope it encourages you that you can cry out to the Lord and he will hear and he will answer. And if that's you, as it is me, then let us say so. Let us tell about the wonderful works of our God in our lives.